What's going on, everybody? Wellness Week Live. Hey, it's me, DJ Anthony. Hey, don't forget, I'm not giving any advice, medical or legal. Always check with your healthcare professionals. I don't know shit. Okay, so today, this month, is Women's History Month. Now, what the hell do I have to do with that? I'm not a woman. I'm a DJ from New Jersey. How you doing? Okay, so I want to talk today about Women's History Month. And you could also call it Women's Appreciation Month. Now, you may ask, what the hell do I know about that? I'm not a woman. And there are people out there that would say, hey, what are you talking about? Women's History Month? Well, come on. Hey, give me a break with this stuff. Well, to that idiot, I would say Women's History Month is necessary. And here's why. I'm going to give you one example. I can give you hundreds of examples, but I only have a half-hour show. I'm going to give you one. I'm going to break off a little something for ignorant people out there. Here's why women's history is so important, okay? And we need to talk about this. If I ask you, who invented Amazon? You know, Amazon.com. Who invented Amazon? Go ahead, say it. Who invented Amazon? Who is the owner or the inventor of Amazon.com? Say it. Go ahead. Correct, Jeff Bezos. Half correct. Jeff Bezos, half. See, that's the problem right there, because Mackenzie Bezos, his ex-wife, is co-creator of Amazon. Sorry. Yeah, hold your ears. You're not going to want to hear this, but Mackenzie Bezos is half of the creator of Amazon. Correct. She wasn't some, trophy wife, wasn't some gold digger. She helped Jeff and her created Amazon. She would help pack the boxes and run the numbers and do the accounting and the paperwork and in the beginning. And then, of course, hold your ears. She had to raise 2 kids, or the kids. So not that Jeff didn't work hard, of course, and he's a very admirable person, Jeff Bezos. Actually, I look up to him in the business sense, and he seems like a decent human being. But you see, that's why you need Women's History Month, because you said Jeff Bezos. That's only half correct. Why didn't you say Mackenzie? Odd. That's why we need Women's History Month, because this happens all the time, where we just look at us guys. She is co-creator of Amazon. Okay? Not just the wife. And this Mr. Bezos has even said so. That's how I know this. So that's why. You only said Jeff Bezos. Tisk, tisk, tisk. Shame on you. That's not factually correct. And this is why we need Women's History Month. And I could give you hundreds of more examples, and you'll keep on failing, and I'll have to keep on telling you, a woman also did that. A woman also did this. A woman also. So, and you didn't know. So that's okay. It's okay. But I didn't know either, by the way, until Jeff Bezos mentioned it. So, but you see, this is the problem. This is why Women's History Month is so important. Okay. That said, I want to talk about the 5 women, and there's been more than 5, but the 5 women who have made an impact in my life. Because when we say Women's History Month too, right, what do we think of? We think of, female astronaut or, female general, and that's great. Awesome. But what about the females who made such impacts in our lives? They go unnoticed, because they're not an astronaut, and that's great. Be an astronaut. Awesome. But what about the stay-at-home mom? What about the woman who became a dentist? What about the woman? So History Month is for all of the women. And these are the 5 heroes in my life who, when I look at my life, of course, there's been great men who have contributed to my life and made me the success that I am. But more women have made more impact in my life than the men. That's just my life. I don't know about yours, but when I really sit down and think about that, because, we always look at okay, I love my football coach, I'm saying? I love my track and field coach. I love my jujitsu coach. I love, these men, hey, 100% grateful for them. But I'm like, when I really think about it, I'm like, wait, no, there's been more people in my life that have been women who have made more impact in my life. And these are the top 5 people, top women, but who have made a great impact in my life. And again, not to say men didn't, but so number 1 is my mom. Now, you may think like, hey, yeah, come on, hey, everybody's mom. Yeah, what's that? That's not true. there's a lot of moms out there that are not good moms, So, but my mom, and no one's perfect, of course, but my mom was, when I think about it, she was probably the first person that the reason why she made an impact in my life was because my mother, she's elderly now and not in good health, but raising me, my mother was my biggest cheerleader, and so no matter what I did, oh my God, Anthony, amazing, amazing. I'm like, Mom, all I did was fart. Give me a break. Oh my God, the best fart ever, the best fart ever. I'm like, are you kidding me? So now a lot of times kids don't like that, right? Oh, Mom, oh, Dad, oh, Mom, come on, Mom, like I didn't do anything. But kids thirst for that. They want their mother and father, but this is Women's History Month. They want their mother to not only accept them, but vault them, celebrate them. Oh Johnny, oh Jen, or Anthony in this case. You did great. You do, even when you kind of know you didn't do great, and you say, "Oh Mom, I didn't do great," but we want that. We want our moms, our family to back us up. And so my mother was my biggest cheerleader. I could do no wrong, and don't get me wrong, when I did wrong, my mother, reprimanded me. I didn't get off. My mother definitely would break out. She's a little Italian lady. She'd break out that spoon and, hit me or, punish me, rightfully so. So she wasn't like, blind, but she was my biggest champion, my biggest cheerleader. I know I can count on my mom, so, and I didn't realize that until I became a parent and I got older, so my mother would be, no matter what's going on out there in the world, it's like, wow, my mom's got my back. Like, I know I got someone, that loves me, that not only loves me, but that celebrates me. That's so, so important for children, and even adults. So my mom would be the number, no particular order, but my mom, whatever, we'll say the first person. Second person would be a woman of women's history. My history would be my grandmother, my nonna in Italian. My grandmother was kind of like my mother. That's her mother. On my maternal side, my nonna was again a big champion of me. Just she used to call me in her broken English, you're the golden boy, the golden boy. So I'm like, hey, I'm the golden boy. I can't do it. I'm bulletproof. Like so as much as I struggled with my own identity or my own insecurities, I had that backstop. I had that safety net of my mother and my grandmother. And my grandmother was the first person that turned me on to entrepreneurship and business. She was the first person, and I don't even think she realized this, but when I was like maybe 7 or 8, she'd be like, Anthony, do you want to vacuum the rug, in her house? And she's like, I'll give you $1. I'm like, what? $1? And the rug was like, 2 passes and you're done with this rug. It was like a 2-foot rug. But anyways, she would say, do you want to vacuum? And I'll give you $1. And that made me have a spark for entrepreneurialism and business. I was like, well, if she's going to give me $1 for that, would she give me $1 if I clean the table? Would she, would my neighbor give me money if I mow the lawn or shovel the snow? Like, my grandmother gave me that spark. I didn't even realize that I was an entrepreneur in my mind, but she helped me inadvertently, really, but she did. My grandmother gave me that spark of to be an entrepreneur, to be a business owner, and that's what I became, in my now an adult life. So my grandmother, and of course my grandmother was also someone that in her own life, I guess, like, she was an inspiration for me because she sacrificed. She came from Italy in the early 50s, but she came from Italy to America when she was 40 years old. Can you imagine being 40 and leaving everything to go to a different country? Not any country, right? Just imagine 40 years old and you're leaving with 3 little girls by yourself, but you're leaving everything even if you're a single woman or a single person, man. At 40, get up, leave, and never come back. So move to a different country where we don't speak the language. At 40, at 40, you're already an established adult. All your infrastructure, everything and then poof, gone. You're leaving. So my grandmother, to take that leap at 40 with 3 young children to go across the world, and she would rendezvous with my grandfather, to meet up in America, but still, like, leaving everything, and that's what my grandmother did, and so many of our grandparents did, right, or family and friends, but she did that in the early 50s, and so to leave everything she knew And to start over at 40, that's tough. I'm not that far off from 40. I'm on 50, but you know what I mean? Like at 40, think about that. I mean, so boom, you're gone. So she sacrificed that, and uh, she could have had a lot more in her life financially and materialistically speaking, but she sacrificed to give to raise me and my brothers, co-raise them with my parents, to help my cousins too and stuff. But she really helped us out a lot. Without my grandmother, we would have been in really bad shape. She funneled money to my family day and night, fed us, you know, sheltered us. Just without my grandmother, and my grandfather, but my grandmother was the shot caller. She was a very, very strong woman. So without my grandmother, Women's History Month, shout out to you, Nana, up in heaven. So she was somebody that was so instrumental in my health, my well-being, my literal nourishment, cooking for us almost daily. We lived about 2-3 miles away, but yeah, so doing all those sacrifices, that's as much as an inspiration as a female astronaut. Again, the sacrifices she made, a stranger in a strange land. She could have had a much bigger, house. She didn't even own a house. She rented a house, but she could have owned a house. She could have owned multiple homes. She could have had so much more, but she gave that money to us, selflessly. And yeah, so my grandmother was my nonna was another Women's History Month hero, along with my mom. And then third would be a teacher of mine. Well, I had a lot of great female teachers, actually. You know what? I'm going to have to add two in this one here. All right. So the art teacher that I had when I was a child, third grade, her name is Miss Russo, and we didn't get along. Like, I was a pain in the ass child. I was a good boy, but I was a little bit, of a scotch, a pest, and look, teachers are not going to always love every single child. The teachers care about all their kids equally, but you're going to get along better with certain students than others. Anyways, so me and Miss Russo didn't get along that well, but kudos to her. She was able to be a professional and separate, okay, I might not like the personality of this kid, me, Anthony, but she saw talent in me. And I remember her one time saying, Anthony, I want to exhibit your artwork. I was at third grade. What does that make me, 9 or 10? She's like, I want to exhibit your artwork in the school's hallways for a month. I was blown away because, I had just gotten left back the year prior at a different school, different town. And I really didn't think much of myself. And so when Miss Russo, who I thought didn't like me, was like, wow, she was able to parse out, that and say, I still reward you for your work. And that's all you could ask, right? Is that someone be fair with you? And Miss Russo was. She might not have liked me, but she was fair with me. And she exhibited my work. Now, I don't want to sound cocky, but she wasn't trying to make me feel good, because I am a good artist. I was a good artist and I am a good artist. So I know, that, yeah, that was real. Like, I earned that. And so that changed the trajectory of my life in a small way, but wanted to pay big dividends, years down the line. Because again, here was a woman who was instrumental in my life. She did not do me a favor. I earned it, and she acknowledged, and she knows I earned it, and she didn't play politics. She was able to put aside, okay, Anthony's a pain in the ass, but this kid's got talent. I'm going to reward that. And that's amazing. That's all we ask for, right? Is give us the opportunity. Let me earn or let me fail. And she let me earn it, and she rewarded me. So Miss Russo, big shout out to you. The other teacher, and I've had a lot of great female teachers, but the other one was my third grade teacher, Miss Martin. Miss Martin, another one who just, I remember, again, I wasn't a great student. So I was a good boy, but not a great student. And I remember Miss Martin saying to me one time, again, third grade, and she said to me, Anthony, you can give up on yourself, but I'm not going to give up on you. I was blown away by that. I was like, what? Like, this woman is going to drag me to the finish line. Like, how powerful is that? Like, you have someone in your corner that's like, you can give up on you. I'm not. Like, that's God stuff, like, that's just like, whoa. And so she made a big impact with just that sentence. And she was a great teacher. I know she's retired now, but can you imagine that, someone saying that to you? Yeah, you can keep messing up all you want. I'm always going to be here. I've never had anyone say that to me ever. Family, not family. Just wow. Miss Martin, my third grade teacher, another powerful woman in my life, powerful human in my life. Um, the other one would be this next one. Her name is Anne Marie, and she played a very small role in my life. We're talking maybe we conversed for an hour altogether in our whole time together. But I used to work in a pharmacy when I was in high school, right out of high school. I was 18, and Marianne was the cashier at this pharmacy. She was older than me. If I was 18, she must have been maybe 30. And so she used to always say, Anthony, what are you doing now? You're out of high school. And I would say, oh, I'm not doing anything. I'm just going to work. She's like, oh, you're not going to college or trade school or military, nothing. I'm no, college's not for me. I'm not that smart. I had really bad SATs. I wasn't a good student, like I said earlier. And I don't want to go to the military. I don't want to go to trade school. So every day she would just take a second and be like, go to college, just try, apply. And I would say, no, Marion. I'm sorry. I wasn't Amory, it was Marion. So she would say, try to go to college. I'm like, no, that's not for me. But every week she would pester me. Did you apply? You should. And I would say, no, every single week. Marianne, leave me alone. And I would just do my work in the pharmacy. Eventually I was like, okay, listen, lady, to get you out of my hair, I am going to apply because my grades are so bad, my SATs are so bad, I would never get into a regular 4-year college. So she's like, well, try a community college. I said, fine, I'm going to apply. They're going to reject me. And when they do, would you please stop pestering me? She's like, fine. All you gotta do is apply. If you don't get in, you don't get in, and I won't bother you anymore. Fair enough. I was like, thank God, let me get this lady out of my hair. So I go to apply to community college and I got accepted. I was shocked. And I was like, what? Now, little did I know, I didn't know this, but community colleges accept everybody, but I didn't know that. So I just thought oh my God, I'm going to college. I thought so little of myself, and I wasn't a good student. So because of Marion's insistence and gently nudging me, she was a very good person and friendly, but she would gently nudge me and say, go, 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 go. So she did. And when I got done with community college, I transferred to a 4-year college, got my degree. And when I got that degree, many years later, I tracked her down, I sent her a card, and I wrote a check to her. I forgot how much the check was, but it wasn't $1 or $2. It was like maybe $100 or more in her name. And I said, this is a little token. I want to say thank you because many years ago, I don't know if you remember, but you kept on encouraging me to go to college. And it's because of you, because of your encouragement, I have my degree today. If she didn't pester me, if she did not encourage me, I would have never, ever, never went to college. Zero. Because my family, they didn't care if I went or not. They weren't, they were just like, do whatever you want, just don't get in trouble. So I could have just, my goal was to get a job somewhere and just work. That's it, So, but because of Marion, the cashier at the drugstore's insistence and her gentle nudging, I'm like, wow, her little nudges, 3 seconds a week just to nudge me. That tiny little thing that she did was so powerful in my life looking back. So another great woman in Women's History Month. And so, yeah, I mean, we don't understand sometimes it doesn't have to be somebody who spends every day with you. It could be someone who just says a sentence to you, who just does a nice, kind deed for 1 minute. That person can set the trajectory of your life off in a whole different direction. And that was Marion, the cashier. So she by just doing something, relatively just something small, So another great woman in my life. Okay. And rounding out the last one would be my ex-mother-in-law. So my ex-mother-in-law, she didn't necessarily do anything for me, but the example that she led her life, and I know how she led her life, is just awe-inspiring. Here's a woman who survived the Korean War. She's Korean. She survived the Korean War as a young woman, and she was able to take her family, her then husband and her 2 daughters. My ex-wife was one of them. The daughters, they go to South America. They leave the Korean, peninsula, and then her husband passes away in an accident. So she's left in South America, doesn't speak Spanish, to raise 2 babies on her own. She finds a way to get to America, New York City, with 2 children, single woman, single mother, and raises these 2 girls on her own, working, 15-hour days, 7 days a week, whatever it was, ungodly effort, Herculean effort to raise 2 upstanding citizens, women, on her own. She didn't get remarried. She muscled it on her own to come to America, doesn't speak a lick of English, waitressing tables and etc., and working her way up to understand English and then get a job at the post office. And eventually down the road, she would get remarried, but she already did all of the raising of her children and everything. Think about that. Survive a war, lose family in that war. Can you imagine if a war came to our town for 5 years, escape, go to a different country, you don't speak the language, your spouse dies, and now what? You're left to fend for yourself. And so she does that, leaves that country, goes to another country called America. And this is before apps and phones and translation devices. I mean, you're on your own. And a single woman doing that, a single woman doing that is much more dangerous than a man doing that with 2 little girls. So she did all of that and did it well, raised 2 good people, and she might be maybe the one person in my whole life that I'm actually really impressed with, and so she should be on some cover of Time or something, Woman of the Year, so again, rightfully so, we acknowledge the female astronauts and female doctors. That's great. They should acknowledge my ex-mother-in-law. They should put her on no bullshit. Like, just a tough, resilient, good, salt of the earth human being that should be on a coin, just amazing. So these are the 5 or 6 women for Women's History Month that have made an indelible mark on my life, that have really motivated me when I'm down and out. I think of them. I say, wow, that these women have made me who I am today in some shape, form, fashion, or way. And so this is why Women's History Month, I think if we think about it, it's not only necessary, but it's so powerful. And let's not forget, right? Just our mothers giving birth to us. You understand how dangerous that is? Of course you don't, because you're a guy. And I didn't understand how dangerous that is. Thousands of women die every year in America just giving life to us. Hello? We forget giving birth is very, very dangerous to give birth. It's not, you're not doing your nails. Mothers put their life on the line each and every time they give birth. And then they destroy their body forever because you're not the same anymore. And oftentimes mental issues and, physiological issues, never mind the physical issues. So that's just for starters, so, and we don't really recognize that often, as us being guys, and so that's why I wanted to do the show too. And I get it. I understand men do a lot. Men created this and that. I'm a guy. I totally get that. No one's taken away from what guys do. But again, when I asked you who created Amazon, you can only come up with Jeff Bezos. You forgot the other co-creator. And that is why we need to have Women's History Month, because women get left out. They get forgotten for all of their sacrifices and the hard work that they do, because you couldn't name Mackenzie Bezos. You only can name the other half, Jeff. So happy Women's History Month to all the women out there. Thank you to all the women in my life. There's been many more women who have done, amazing things for me and have inspired me. But so anyways, big shout out to all the women out there. You guys are inspirations. You ladies, you women are inspirations for us all. And thank you for all you do. Okay, everyone, I'm signing off. DJ Tony. Don't forget, like, subscribe. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bye.